The makers of Adipurush had gaslit us by saying that we constantly look at the West for our superhero tales. We want to, through this story, tell you that the real superheroes are from our own land. The result, an embarrassing product I wouldn't even recommend to my close friends. And in contrast, here comes Hombale Films with clean productions, without any promises or claims, and provides us a tale that deserves all your attention. For anyone who has been an active viewer on this channel, you would know that there is one topic I keep on repeating like a tape recorder, and that is the state of animation in this country. How a country has some of the best talent but is struggling to get work domestically because the industry is more or less dead and one has to look elsewhere for work. One of my biggest pastimes is watching animated movies or a film that is heavily dependent on special effects and wait to just see the credits roll and point out the number of Indian names I can identify. The potential of this industry is something that I've ranted and raved about because despite the bumps regarding its technical quality, we had Hindi cinema with international collaborations truly making strides in the animation industry in the mid 2000s and early 2010s. You know, a time where Bollywood actually cared about making films catered towards children. I mean, we had the Chota Bheem series, Dash Avatar, Love Kush, the Mahabharat, Char Sahibzade, bloody hell, we had Anurag Kashyap directing a movie called The Return of Hanuman, which was bloody good by the way. The possibilities were endless, and I think it peaked with my favorite Indian animated film of all time, Arjun the Warrior Prince. But I believe as foreign funding with Disney and just risk-taking companies like UTV stopped taking wild swings, this industry also just fizzled. I mean, you know, we countless number of times speak about how Hollywood's biggest box office hits are all animated movies catered towards a young demographic, and knowing our rich history and mythological stories, it's absolutely insane that we don't reinvest in this genre. And I have to be honest with you, with Hombale Films presenting this film, the same production company that made movies like KGF, Kantara and Salar, already announced its animated slate titled the Mahavatar Cinematic Universe, I became slightly skeptical. Is this a genuine effort here or a heavy dependence on AI prompt storytelling? But I have to officially announce to all of you, it's crazy on how much their first film, Mahavatar Narsimha, truly shocked me. I went in thinking that this will be an ancient Indian history cash grab, but I was so wrong. This is the dark horse, I believe, in the Indian film industry that can become a 1,000 crore franchise that does not even require star faces and will catch everyone off guard. Listening to even Ashwin Kumar, the director, and the clarity with which he has this vision and clean productions backing him, no wonder this was the product. This is the film that can reintroduce the importance of voiceover and dubbing too, like how we associate the biggest stars of Hollywood who voiced iconic animated characters. I know I may be getting ahead of myself regarding this, but you have to know an inner child in me just became enamored with the possibilities after stepping out of the theatre today. The film, directed by Ashwin Kumar, focuses on the story of the demon Hiranyakashyap, who seeks revenge from Lord Vishnu and declares himself to be a god. This is done by the Asur with the tapasya that he dedicates to Lord Brahma, all as a reaction to an avatar of Lord Vishnu ending his brother's life. Seeking for immortality was refused by Lord Brahma, but the caveat of invulnerability, to not be killed by any living entity created by you, not inside or outside my abode, nor by any human, animal or weapon, nor in the day or night, is something Lord Brahma is compelled to grant him. He is invincible as he proceeds living life as the king of all living entities and presiding deities. However, his son Prahlad, much to his dismay, stays loyal to Lord Vishnu and worships him for the impact the divine sage Narad had on him while being in the womb of his mother. This devotion to Lord Vishnu and denial to accept Hiranyakashyap as the supreme being above all infuriates the Asur, compelling him to kill Prahlad, only to be saved in every instance by Lord Vishnu's divine presence. The legend of Narsimha and how he circumvents the boon handed to Hiranyakashyap and ending him is the tale of this truly praiseworthy attempt that I think is a new beginning, a new movement that will reintroduce children to become excited to go to the theatre again, beyond the Hollywood animated films, and in turn also be introduced to rich Indian history, tales we all got as children, but somewhat this tradition fizzled away as iPad kids grew up with brain rot Cocomelon YouTube videos. Let's get to the elements of the film in finer detail. So here's me telling you the good and bad aspects of the film so that you guys can ultimately decide whether to watch Mahavatar Narsimha in theaters or not. The underwhelming aspects. rudimentary elements of animation. The only stumbling block for me, and this is something that many people will face as they are used to a particular quality with animated films, is that there is a lot of work to be done in the art of expressions in Indian animation. There are several sequences in the movie where you will notice that the movement of the mouth and the expressions associated with the emotions do not sync well. This often takes away from the brilliant dubbing done for the film. Oftentimes, it feels like characters are performing stock expressions versus something that suits exactly to denote what is being said. The film, if you compare it to the budgets that Hollywood is working with, has been able to pull off whatever it has done in probably 1/10 of major Hollywood projects. This is not an excuse to protect its frailties, however. I think this also denotes the first step to rejuvenate an industry that was left high and dry. We are used to watching Hollywood animated projects where the detailing has become so mind-blowing that you acknowledge what the gold standard is and hope and wish we can get there one day. I hope while the slate seems to be ready for the next decade, the filmmakers and producers aim at working on refining these technical details versus just prioritizing the rapid nature in which these movies will release. The good. Score and creative tools. I absolutely fell in love with the score and music of this film. The score has been created by Sam C.S. and he really encapsulates the various moods of this iconic tale to perfection. Elements of divinity with Prahlad and in contrast of the dread that consumes the world when tormented by the growing strength of Hiranyakashipu and his brother. Sam balances both ends of the spectrum with great detailing. There are several combat sequences that had the kid in me getting giddy with excitement, and Sam perfectly elevated the moments of battle, especially the two moments where Lord Varaha faces Hiranyaksh and Lord Narsimha battles Hiranyakashipu in the climax. What I also love about what director Ashwin Kumar has done is that he has integrated modern elements to their abilities without trivializing the same. You have the land of the Devas trying to protect their own city through battleships powered by their divinity towards Lord Vishnu. You have Hiranyakashipu in battle using tricks of teleportation like Yoshimitsu from Tekken. You have Narsimha going on a rampage mode, almost like you've instilled the most brutal fatality combination from Mortal Kombat. And what these integrations allow is for these tales to become accessible for the younger generation today. This is done without compromising the sanctity of the story. I must say though, it's not ideal for really small children because the bloodbath is insane and totally goes no holds barred. Themes and tales. This is exactly what we have been shouting and screaming about. I remember Shah Rukh Khan was speaking about this during the release of Ravan with the portrayal of gods and the iterations that can be celebrated by the young audience. Our own gods as the best superheroes known globally. We look at the West for these tales, not realizing that many of their characters are extensions of gods from various cultures. We look at them with admiration but forget the countless tales we have to tell of our homegrown heroes. The film exceptionally establishes the land of the Asurs and the Devas, Hiranyakashipu's obsession with wanting everything, and how the world, when consumed by darkness, will always produce a ray of hope or light, in this case through the presence of Prahlad. I have read these stories countless number of times, so just to see the characters of Lord Indra, Holika or Lord Varun on the big screen immediately brought me flashbacks to my childhood and hope and wish this becomes a reality with commercial cinema on the big screen. The themes of good over evil is one, but the storyline is relevant in many regards, specifically on the ramifications when someone has a lust for absolute power, the devotion for one's belief, systems that aim at crushing that same faith. More importantly, the strength of empathy and kindness in a world filled with greed and injustice. It's not dumbed down at all to spoon feed to a younger demographic. Hence, I guess the UA certificate also makes sense. Brilliant dubbing. I was absolutely loving the dubbing that has been provided for this film. As I previously said, there are stumbling blocks because of the rudimentary animation, which does not truly capture the lip sync or expressions appropriate for the scene, but the dubbing artists have left no stone unturned in really invigorating great energy and spirit in the characters. Aditya Raj Sharma deserves so much praise for the voice he lends to Hiranyakashipu, channelizing the powerful and narcissistic Asur king who only believes in his reign and worship in all the three worlds. Harpriya Mata also as Prahlad captures the innocence of the child and his devotion towards Lord Vishnu brilliantly. I'm telling you that this film and its success will lead to many actors realizing the importance and art of effective dubbing in the film industry. An industry with some of the most talented actors are not given enough respect for the beautiful command they have on the language. Climax and possibilities. I was in absolute awe of the climax as Sam Sias's score titled Roar of Narsimha played in the background. The creative elements integrated into the battle as both the characters go toe-to-toe with each other was better than most mass action face-offs I've seen in Indian movies. I felt totally immersed in the world, and this is what it's all about. The sheer possibilities we have with our deep ancient Indian history and the several tales we can tell on the big screen. I don't have an aversion towards our obsession with Hollywood superhero movies or animated movies, but it shouldn't be our only source, especially knowing how much is untapped in our very country. China is already experiencing a billion-dollar animated project in its homegrown market. The footfalls of Hollywood films is slowly dwindling there as they are looking more inward. The Japanese are mastering their own art for years through mangas and anime. And I think we should also look inwards and tell our stories and organically see if it reaches the world. I'm not saying this is a this versus that or an India versus the West argument, but the possibilities with this world, if this is the first step, just has me terribly excited. And that was the video, guys. Write down in the comments below what you thought about Mahavatar Narsimha. Please don't forget to follow me on Instagram. The handle's right in front of you. Follow me at JammyPants4. Also, please support us by smashing the like button and subscribing to our channel for weekly content ahead. Thank you for watching.